Barcelona, we caught up with Michael's friend, Gareth, who's currently living there. Gareth was a great tour guide. He told us all sorts of interesting information about Barcelona and showed us many of the sights.
We've both been here before, wondering if it will be more than a few.
We saw a whole lot of interesting street performers in Barcelona.
1,000 miles or so away, when our summer clothes give way.
We found a lot of interesting architecture in Barcelona, in particular the modernista style of the early 1900s, and especially the work by Antoni Gaudí.
But I'll remember your face in my hands.
We're on the top balcony of Gaudí's Casa Batlló, another of his famous works. It's a house and it's a cacophony of colour and curves, and it's kind of crazy, but it's also very beautiful and quite genius as well.
Just keep me in your plans.
Gaudí was inspired by light and nature. This is reflected in much of his work, where he used these elements to great effect and function. This is La Sagrada Familia, and it's Gaudí's last unfinished masterpiece. It was started in 1882, and as you can see, they're still working on it. They're hoping to be done in the next couple of decades.
Remember our first night under stars and firelight. It didn't seem.
So we're in Park Güell, which was designed by Gaudí in 1900.
It was designed to be an apartment complex, but it actually never got finished, so no one ever lived here, and that's a public park.
And so what you see behind us here is actually meant to be a marketplace.
Everything was brand new, and I miss you, but
Behind me here is a hill called Tibidabo, and on top of it there's a church, which is the Church of the Sacred Heart, as well as a theme park.
Summer's gone without.
So here we are at Tibidabo, and here's the Church of the Sacred Heart. It's actually two churches, one on top of the other.
We made it to the top!
You've got school and I've got.
This is Barcelona's oldest theme park, and probably the highest too. It was built in 1905.
You'll understand. I would have waited around for you to come back around, but maybe
They really don't make things quite as high here.
summer's gone with a wave of hands.
We're at the site of the 1992 Olympics that were held in Barcelona, and the stadium is over here where the ceremonies were held, and that tower up there is where we think the Olympic flame was.
Behind me here is a cemetery in Barcelona. They've got high density living, and as you can see they've also got high density cemeteries.
This fortress is Castel de Montjuic, and it overlooks Barcelona.
Just keep me in your plans. I would have waited for you, but you've got school and I've got the band. Hope that you'll understand.
Where else a better place to buy a new flashcard for your camera than a vending machine?
Know that you'll understand.
This yellow building over here is our hotel, and it's a beautiful location on this really nice square. Tarragona used to be a Roman city, so there's a lot of Roman sites around. This one is a Roman fortification, a wall that went around the city.
Be just fine, but tomorrow's so far away, and only you can make this brain shut down.
You've got to love the Romans and the aqueducts. This is Pont de Diable, and normally you can actually walk along the top, but unfortunately 2,000 years of history I guess takes its toll, and you can see it's actually closed for repairs.
Now I think I'm getting kinda fond know you got a lot of
Behind me is a sculpture of a castel. It's basically a Spanish human pyramid. Hopefully we'll see one for real whilst we're here.
There are people moving out of the apartment on the top floor here, and they need this ladder and the conveyor belt to take everything out.
In my head it's you I'm always talking to. I've been found. Won't you come around with your long hair down? Won't you come around?
This is our very funky room in Valencia. So this is Valencia's City of the Arts and Sciences. It's this massive complex with an aquarium, an IMAX cinema, a theatre, but the outside is absolutely amazing. It looks like something out of a science fiction film. I feel like one of these buildings here is about to take off and lift into the sky.
The aquarium at the City of Arts and Sciences is the largest in Europe, so we thought it might be worth a
When
look.
you catch me coming, makes me 10 foot high. No, I don't want to rush you now.
Funny kind of fish they've got in here.
You can break your rules somehow.
This pond here is quite interesting. They've got this bar here that juts out over the pond, which is kind of cool. And they've got some cars here for some reason.
We also checked out the Science Museum.
We just found ourselves in a room of giant chromosomes. This is the protein that I did my PhD on. We've just climbed to the top of the tower of the old city gates. It's a nice view.
I can paint you a picture anytime.
So this river used to run through the heart of Valencia City, but in the 50s it flooded the area. So what they did is they rerouted it. And the result is this leftover riverbed that they've converted into nice cycling and jogging paths and sports fields and so forth. So it's very nice to go through.
You can turn the lights down low and I will pour the wine. Come on baby, let's turn it over. Let's turn it over.
This playground here is in the shape of Gulliver from Gulliver's Travels.
I got an itch for satisfaction. Little Marvin.
Today we're going on a bike ride to Albufeira, which is a lake over in that direction.
Or we can let it play.
There's some horses and carriages going around in circles here for some reason.
Still so young.
We're at the edge of the lake here and there's all these rice fields with buildings that are dotted throughout the fields. It looks quite impressive.
Let's turn it over.
We just went out in one of these boats on a tour of the lake. Unfortunately the commentary was all in Spanish so we couldn't really understand it, but we saw lots of birds and it was very pretty.
Sunday paper, they're scattered everywhere across the floor, stepping on headlines.
We enjoyed some great scenery on the train between Valencia and Cuenca.
We want all of the pictures, just put them away. I just want a little more time with you today.
It's gorgeous.
We ain't got no money, we won't for a while.
Behind me here is the old town of Cuenca, which is built out on this rocky outcrop overlooking this gorge. And it's really quite spectacular. They were clearly limited for space and they built these, what were called hanging houses, which were sticking right out with the balconies hanging over the edge of the gorge.
Makes you cry, well, baby, that's alright. Come on down.
Well, here we are in Spain in November, and these are the most beautiful autumn colours we've seen so far on our trip.
Let's turn it over. Let's turn it over and baby.
It's just on sunset and we've hiked up to the top where there's this figure of Christ up here.
Oh yeah.
Next stop, Madrid.